Hi, this is Rust and Magic. Welcome to the second video in this series about those who cannot draw. That's me and the other ones. Of course we can draw. It's just a question of learning. And it's not very difficult. Today I thought we would get rid of the technical part, but don't worry, it's not going to be complicated. So what do you need to draw? Well, you need pencil and paper. That's all. I'm gonna use software in these videos simply because it's easier. They both have their advantages. And, well, obviously nothing beats paper and pencil. It's a wonderful tool that is pretty much beating everything you could ever imagine. Not 3D software. Software for drawing is good. It can do a lot of cool things. It will never be as good as drawing on paper, but it has a number of advantages that are very valuable. You can use layers, you can easily transform, edit, use liquify tool to modify what you've drawn, and basically it's easy to make changes without destroying anything. And these advantages often are so overwhelming that it's better to use software than to use pen and paper. But again, it's really nice to draw on paper sometimes. It's never going to be the same as using software. Paper and pencil, that's all. Now, if you want to get a little bit fancy, you can go to the art store and buy a sketch pad or a drawing pad. It doesn't cost much. Good quality drawing paper. Make sure you get the drawing or sketch paper, not watercolor paper or something with texture on it. It should be fairly flat, otherwise it's not easy to draw on it. You can get a couple of high quality pencils. 3 is enough. 1HB, 12H and 12B. That pretty much covers everything you need. They sell boxes with the pencils ranging from very soft 6B to hard 6H somewhere. You don't really need these. You never use all of these different ones. It's better to just buy 2, 3, 4 high quality pencils and use that. An eraser is never wrong. It's really difficult to find a good eraser. I use Staedtler Mars Plastic. That's the only one I use. I really can't stand any other eraser. The Mars Plastic is fantastic. It rolls together in small little sausages of rubber. That's easy to brush off the paper. It doesn't get dirty. You can use it forever. It's a wonderful eraser. I'm sure there are other ones too. This is a matter of taste, of course. That's always the way it works. Now, if you are going to use a computer instead, you will have to spend a little money. Software you can get for free, no problem, but you really can't draw with a mouse. That's just the way it is. It's not possible to draw with a mouse, at least not good. So you're going to need some kind of device for this, either a pen tablet or a pen display. A pen tablet, that's the plastic one without any display. You draw on the piece of plastic and your lines appear on the monitor. These are the cheap ones. A pen display is a monitor that you can draw on. You can, of course, use an iPad or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not using any Apple products, and I really don't like drawing on small tablet computers. So I'm not going to talk about it here, but that's definitely one alternative. So the question is, should you use a tablet or a pen display? Well, if you're a beginner, just want to learn a little, don't know if you're going to like it, go with a pen tablet. Don't waste a lot of money on a pen display until you know you like it. People gonna say a lot of things about pen tablets. Some gonna say that they are terrible, you can't use them, and some gonna say, oh, you don't need a pen display, a pen tablet is so good. And the truth is somewhere in between. It's really a matter of taste again here. Some people find pen tablets very difficult to use. Some people love them. what's mostly common is that it does take a little time to get used to, because you are drawing on a piece of plastic and your eyes are on your monitor where the lines appear. And that coordination takes a few minutes to learn, or a little while at least. But buy yourself a pen tablet. There are cheap ones. I think you can find pen tablets for $20, and a good, decent quality smaller one is $30, $40. What size do you need? Well, if you have a big monitor, a 26, 27-inch monitor or something, you really need a fairly big pen tablet, because otherwise any little movement on that little pen tablet is going to get magnified on the monitor terribly. If you have a small monitor or a laptop, you can get away with a small pen tablet. But how do you know how big you need? Well, again, it's personal, but I would suggest when you find a pen tablet you like and you are interested in, cut out a piece of paper in the same size as a drawing area on the pen tablet. Grab a pencil and start drawing some doodles on it. Doesn't matter what you draw. Draw some sweeping lines, circles, and see how it feels. If it feels good to draw on that size paper, you don't feel cramped, it doesn't feel like you're limited in how you move, then you're okay. If it feels very small and you feel that your arm wants to make long sweeping lines and stuff, you may want to consider a bigger pen tablet. So that's one way to try it out. When you have pen displays, you need bigger ones usually, especially if you are my age and the eyesight is not as good, because when you run the pen display, you're going to run the software on that monitor or display also. So you're going to have the toolbars, the buttons, and the menus. And on a small pen display, these can get very, very small, and it's not so easy to see and hit the menus and toolbars. But again, good eyesight and steady hand, and you might get away with a small pen display. It's very good, of course, if you can try them out. You have someone that has one you can try, or get a feel for it. That's one thing. So pros and cons with pen tablets versus pen display. Well, pen tablets, they are cheap. You usually have a better posture. You sit with your back straight and your neck straight, because you have the pen tablet in front of you drawing, but you have your head up watching the monitor. So it's usually better for your back and neck using a pen tablet. Another thing is that you can see what you draw. There's no hands covering the display. So you draw on the pen tablet and you have a clear overview of what's going on the monitor. That may be underestimated sometimes. It's really nice to have that. And as I said before, a downside is that it does take a little time to get that coordination between drawing on a piece of plastic and looking at the monitor. But most people learn it fairly quickly. And there's definitely professional comic artists and other illustrators and stuff using pen tablets instead of pen displays and doing well. So there's really nothing right or wrong here. Pen displays, they're usually easier to learn because it is kind of like a paper. You just grab the pen and start drawing on the display. Downside, your hand covers your work just like when you draw on paper. So you don't have that good overview of what's going on. They're more expensive, quite a bit more expensive. The pens themselves is something to consider also. There's many types of pens. I don't think there are many running on batteries anymore. Most of them are battery free. There's nothing wrong with these. They usually run a week or two before you need to charge them, but I don't think there are many left that they sell anymore. Buttons on the pen, well, that's a matter of taste. I can't stand it. I disable all buttons. I use it like you would use a normal pencil. I don't like having buttons there, so I disable them. Some have 2 buttons, some have 3 buttons, and some even have 2 buttons and a little mouse wheel now that you can use for brush size or something. Again, I can't stand these things, but it's a matter of taste. See if you like it or not. I don't think it's a good idea. Make sure you, not make sure, but consider using a pen tablet or pen display that supports pen tilt. Again, it's fairly common these days. It's not super important. You can get away with just pen pressure. Don't look at the numbers. They always scream that, oh, this pen has 8,000 pressure levels or 16,000 pressure levels. It doesn't matter if it's 2,000 or 16,000 pressure levels. You can't see the difference. Your hand can't use more than maybe a couple of hundred. And most people won't even notice a difference between 2,000 and 16,000 pressure levels. So just ignore that. That's just sales talk. They're going to sell them to you. It's not important. Size of the pen tablet, that it feels comfortable, that's the important things. Otherwise, it's okay. You may consider buttons on the pen tablet or pen display. Some people like it, some don't. I'm okay. I like buttons on pen tablets. I don't like them on pen displays because I lean over the display and it feels uncomfortable having buttons there, so I don't use that. By the way, I use both a pen display, an XP Pen Artist 24, big one, I like it. I also use an XP Pen smaller pen tablet that is very nice. So I use both of them, 2 different computers, and I like both. Now, when you have found something you like, that's a good start. How about brands? There are 2 main brands. These are XP Pen and Huion. If you go to Amazon, you will find a lot of no-name Chinese brands also selling tablets. You may consider being careful. I'm not saying they're bad. You can find reviews sometimes on YouTube about them, and do that first. Do that with any tablet or pen display. Look up YouTube reviews and see. Now, if you do look at YouTube reviews, make sure you watch the right ones. There's many channels that just do reviews of lots of things. They usually have a name like the Super Review Channel, whatever. Don't watch these. They have no idea what they're talking about. They look up stuff on the internet and do lists of the best 5, blah, blah, blah. Go to a channel that have an actual artist that use tablets and read their reviews. That is much more useful. And don't just watch one review. Watch multiple ones. We're all different. We have different opinions. So it's good to have a look and see there. So do that. We have Wacom, of course. I don't mention them much because simply they're very expensive. They're usually, well, they're very expensive. They have a couple of very cheap ones, not very cheap ones. I think the cheapest one is like $40, very tiny, small one. I wouldn't go with Wacom, simply because it's not worth the money. They make good tablets, don't get me wrong, but they are way overpriced. You may consider the cheap ones, but they have pen tablets in fairly letter-sized for $300, $400, $500 sometimes. It's ridiculous. So I would go with XP Pen or Huion. It doesn't matter which one. They are both good. Oh, Wacom sells the new Intuos, I believe, have buttons and dials at the top of the pen display. I can't stand that. I don't know why they did that. I suppose it's to support both left and right-handed people, but it's very annoying to stretch on top of them and crossing over your writing hand to reach the buttons and dials there. I don't like it. Again, it's a matter of taste, of course. I'm left-handed, by the way, so I only use devices that support left-handed use, which most of them do these days. Now, there's a few other things you may want to consider. I don't care much about buttons themselves. I just use the keyboard. That's fine. Now, I'm left-handed, but I have used the mouse in my right hand, so I use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out and draw with the pen. I do want buttons, or actually I want the dials. So I have a separate Huion K20, I think it's believed, which is a separate little keyboard. I don't use it for the buttons, I use it for the dial. I use the dial to rotate the canvas. I can only draw certain directions, most people can. So I rotate the canvas a lot when I draw. So I use the dial for that. So that's my only interest in the separate keyboard. I want the dial, nothing else. But again, this is a matter of taste, of course. So we got a pen tablet or something, and we need some software. There's quite a lot of drawing applications out there. I'm just going to mention the ones I use. For more general drawing and painting, I would suggest you go either with Clip Studio Paint or Krita. Krita is free. It's really, really good. I used Clip Studio Paint before. It's a little better than Krita. It has a few more features. No question about that. But when they went subscription, I bailed out there. And no, you don't need to grab your keyboard. I'm fully aware of how the Clip Studio Paint license works, and I still consider it subscription. The only thing you can buy is a snapshot of a version, so you can buy version 4.0.0. That's all you get. The bugs that are in there, they're not going to fix them for you unless you buy an update pass, which is a subscription. So Clip Studio Paint is basically subscription. If you're okay with that, I suggest you go with Clip Studio Paint. The cheap version is fairly cheap, and it's a great piece of software, no question about it. Now, Krita is not bad in any way. It's great software. It lacks a few features that Clip Studio Paint have. If these are important to you, you may consider this. Basically, what's missing in Krita is, first of all, it doesn't have any good speech bubble tools if you do comics. The speech bubble tool in Clip Studio Paint is fabulous. It's really, really good. Clip Studio Paint also have very good support for making comics generally. It has complete comic books, the pages. It has panel tools to create panels on pages and things like this. Krita doesn't support this much. And it has a 3D tools to pose characters to use as a reference. I don't like them in Clip Studio much. There's nothing wrong with them, but I don't like the whole navigation and posing tools. I find them very confusing. I just do, if I need a reference character, I just use some 3D software, Blender, Lightwave, Cinema 4D, whatever, where you can post a character there, render out a screenshot, and just use that as a reference image. But Krita is good software. If you do like it, if you use it, please, please, please do consider donating a few dollars to them. It's a small team. They need everything they can get. They do a fantastic job with it. Other software, GIMP, I don't consider it a drawing application. It is more like a photo editing application. Nothing bad about GIMP, but for drawing, I wouldn't use it really. Now, I'm sure there are lots of other drawing applications that I haven't mentioned. There are some that only works on iPad and so on. I'm not going to comment on them because I simply don't use them, so I don't know much. We have other applications. We have something like if you want to draw more, paint more realistically, watercolor, oil, acrylics. We have software like Corel Painter and Rebel. I actually considered Corel Painter for a while, but I found out that they had been bought up with from an equity firm, and the moment I hear equity firm, I run away because it pretty much always ends with either a disaster or something switching to subscription. So I skipped that. I went for Rebel instead. I bought Rebel 8, It's about $150 for the expensive version. There's a cheap one, and it's fantastic. I like it. I still use Krita. They don't replace either way. Krita can do things Rebel can't, and so I mainly use Rebel for watercolor painting. It's fabulous for that. But again, there are lots of other drawing applications, so look around, see what you can find, watch videos, so on. There's many things. So that's kind of where I wanted to go today. So to continue on, we're going to start drawing. Again, you can use pencil and paper. That works fine. But if you want to go with a pen tablet or a pen display, by all means do that. If you don't know if this is anything for you, I do suggest you get a cheap pen tablet and try that out and see how it works. If you don't like it, it's no big loss. You can find a pen tablet, as I said, for $30–40. Pretty good one. So, well, that's a good start for today, I think. And I hope you found something useful in this video, and I wish you a really nice day and hope to see you soon again.